Seems like it's been a while since we broke out the ride bucket, but as always he is rocking the latest in plastic fashion, and this time it's the DX WizarDriver, otherwise known as the one with the hand. The toy itself is cast in solid gray plastic with translucent black for the centerpiece, and decked out in both silver and gold chrome. Usually I associate chrome on a rider belt with a toy of limited function. Yeah, we've already covered that. Regardless, it does look very cool, and the shine is appropriate for the magic theme of the belt. It looks especially good through the middle with a diamond plate texture. I will say the gold chrome does seem rather fragile. You can see on mine where the edge has worn just from one weekend at an anime con, and I hear this happens just from playing with it too roughly. Just something to be careful about. Looks good, but the Bandai gold paint might have been a better choice. They did use it and some silver on some of the accents. Besides the main piece, the strap is the newer style that's removable on both sides for easy storage and removal. This time there's even molded in directions on which strap goes where. There's also the belt clip, which features a gemstone molded in. It fits waist 20 to 28 inches. It is a kid's toy after all. And if you're thinking of official extension pieces for $15 plus shipping, skip it. Waste of money. A shoestring through the holes on the belt works just as well. Back to the main toy. The purpose of the hand design is twofold, and before anyone says it, neither is to continue the number trend. You know, 1 card, 2 memories, 3 medals, 4 switches. Some point to the 5 fingers and say it continues that trend. But that's changing the rules of the trend just to keep it going. It refers to the number of collectibles needed to activate the belt, which in this case is only 1. To suddenly change that to also include the design of the belt is cheating. Face it, it's over. The real purpose of the belt's design is to tell kids playing with it which hand to use for each mode. Left hand for henshin, right hand for spells. It's also a reference to sleight of hand magic, which is a nice way of describing the gimmick of this belt. Speaking of, we need to look at the collectible of the year, Wizard Rings. Cast in translucent plastic and coated in glittering silver paint, these might make for gaudy jewelry, but as toys, I like the look a lot. They're sized for kids, but Bandai thought ahead, the ring loops being removable for larger replacements. In Japan, these are easy to get, otherwise eBay's your best bet. The spell ring is Kick Strike, Wizard's finishing blow, cast in translucent orange plastic and designed with a kick, giving off a dragon-shaped flame, or a really bad case of athlete's foot. Really like the design of spell rings, with the dragon done in silver and the spell effects detailing looking like gemstone cut. The 2 henshin rings are flame style and water style, in appropriate red and blue. Notice they're not just the same ring in different colors, as both match the helmets worn by the different forms. The visor piece on these are hinged so they can fold up, letting them disguise themselves as real gemstone rings, which is kinda clever. Our hero's ready at any time. Beats waiting for a disembodied bird arm to throw coins at your head. Speaking of, this is the same gimmick as O medals. The belt will emit an RF signal to scan for chips located inside the ring. When one is over the belt, it reads the code on the chip and plays the appropriate sound and light effect to match. As an added trick, the RF signal provides enough power to light up an LED inside the ring while it's over the belt. There's no battery in the ring. The signal is transmitting enough power through your hand to light the LED all on its own, and getting a signal back through your hand from the ring. In just 2 years, this same gimmick used for the WizarDriver has been improved dramatically. Also, the chip inside is covered up, so unlike O medals, you can't see it through the translucent plastic, which I love. So let's get to the meat of the toy. The gimmick of the belt lets you flip the hand over by switching the 2 knobs on the sides, with the knob going up being on the side you're activating. There's a nice touch with the black and gold accents on the edges that are meant to form the wrist of the hand. Oh, and you know how rider belts have these little power-up noises that tell you when the toy's turned on? Not this one. I never had a belt roar at me before. From here on, every time you flip the knobs, it'll tell the toy to start scanning for rings. Just for fun, let's try Kick Strike first. Missing something, isn't it? Really just wanted to show off the default because once you henshin, it changes to match. So let's get to it, starting with, of course, Flame Style. It's chanting fire in Japanese, by the way, and yes, it's saying please after every ring scan. It is the magic word, after all. You can see how well the gimmick works. Despite your hand being in the way, the ring gets a decent glow to it. Really plays to the magic theme. Like I said, this affects the kickstrike ring, adding the element, of course, as well as making it more familiar sounding. By the way, don't scan the ring on the wrong side. The belt doesn't like that. Now let's do it again, this time with water style, and this time I'll angle the belt so you can see all the lights going on behind my hand. Yup, chanting water in Japanese, in a very Beach Boys kind of way. Let's use Kickstrike again. It changes depending on what form ring you used last, adding different element sounds and changing light colors. And right out of the box, that's it. The effect is awesome, definitely fits the magic theme, and works really well. But 3 rings is a really limited start for the belt, only giving 4 effects to start with, 5 if you count the blank kickstrike. Like the WizarDriver, it's really meant for collectors of the year's gimmick. On the upside, there's no lack of options when it comes to additional rings. There's 2 packs of DX rings, candy toy rings that just lack some paint, and gashapon rings that are identical to the candy toys. Just be careful of the value versions of those that don't light up. And the nice part is, so far I have yet to hit a generic sound effect. All of the rings have their names in the driver and have a fitting sound effect. This goes for Rider rings as well. The closest to generic it gets is the Showa Rider rings with no henshin noises, but that's kinda common with these little collectibles. The point is, expanding it is easy, so it's easier for me to recommend this belt if you plan on collecting rings. If not, the limited function might get to you. I'd still suggest at least going to pick up the major rings, and they're easy enough to get. On its own, I still greatly enjoy the toy. I think its design and function is strong enough to recommend it on its own. But if you need to have more function right away, I've got just the solution for you, which we'll discuss in another review.